At a time when we know that truancy and absence from school is on the rise, uh, a huge a huge problem with children being absent from school. It makes no sense, as far as I can see, to be increasing fines and punishments and throwing the book at the parents when the real problem is staring us in the face. Uh, Children have been faced with the gap in their education of COVID. It has had a huge impact. Their socialization skills have been compromised. Uh, Anxiety levels have been wound up. And this is going to have a knock on effect for many years. Uh, I think what we could do, but particularly when we've now got things like rock emerging, just the idea of going to school is terrifying. Frankly, I'm going to go to school and maybe the floor will give in. But those are the signals that this incompetent government is sending out, rather than signals of reassurance that everything is okay. And you can't get a GP appointment, even if you want one, until there's a crisis. So it's only when there's a crisis, when it's actually gone too far to pull back, uh, can you sort this out? And I think I think to find this to see this as the Department of Education seems to as a money making opportunity to fine parents is madness. What we need to do is to find new ways to roll out education. I'm uh, I was very fortunate to be developing some of those new ways while I was working in the university in Russia, and I thought we had a solution. It wasn't possible to trial it fully in practice because of the rise of COVID, the Ukraine war, and in my case, being on a stupid television program, which I must say I enjoy being on the program, but the aftermath was as detrimental to me, frankly, as the COVID nonsense. So I'm very sympathetic to children who feel that they don't want to leave the security of their homes, where at least they can predict what happens. If I never left my desk, I would be very happy. Really, I find wrenching myself out of this present environment, the utility room, is really quite a tough process. Um, and I had to go out this morning for the first part of some cancer tests. Um, and you go into a system which doesn't work. You're sitting there and sitting there and sitting there. And then somebody calls you in what seems to be a very nonchalant and over familiar way. I must say I don't respond positively to someone calling me Timothy. Um, and But the nurse who saw me was utterly charming, and had come from Croatia. And oh, there was a huge conversation to be had there, and very very exciting. Uh, and I know that part of the world well. So there's always a bright side to going out, but I must say I prefer to stay at home. I'm very sympathetic to these children, and I think we need to think about resources being developed online and push for teachers to realise their primary role is to be a mentor. That's the bit which gets jettisoned, by the way, in the classroom, because that's the bit which is hard work. And that's the bit that we should be encouraging. The rest we can get. The rest we can get. But mentoring is something which has to be done on site by people who are focused, who know what they're doing, and who know what to look for, and who know what to encourage. And that's a teacher's role. And so often You go into a school now and you see teachers are more happy to be grabbing a print off, a handout, or grabbing something from the internet, grabbing the information, disciplining the class, than they are to be mentoring the individual students. And so often, teachers have given up marking. So we have to ask the question, what is the point? I can understand truancy. I can understand it.